Retro Hangover is supported via Patreon by listeners like you. We would especially like to thank patrons Lyle McCarns, Tony G, It's a Me Ferrario, Stud Still Smash the Milkman, Lucas from Game Over Hell, Randall Quiggle, Raging Demon from Command List, Poppy the Masked Keaton, JC, Ozzy Garcia, Megan Caruso, Retro Overdrive, Dave Jackson from Tales from the Backlog, Soha, the Emperor, Storm Beagle, and Captain N from Retrotopia, Matt, aka Stormageddon, from Fun and Games and Reignite Podcasts, Van Fernal from Van Fernal's Retro Stream, Ryan, Keith Gasper from the Main Quest Podcast, Rick Firestone from Pixel Project Radio, Eric Guess from Unlockables, Ash Event, Mike the Ref from Backbreaker Gaming, Alan Bingham from Saxbit, Alt, Low5 Alex from Low5 Gaming, B Ross from Super Garbage Day, Oh Me, Sega Boy 7, Jared Breland, Riskel, Adam R, and Super Dave from the Anime Field Guide. Your continued engagement and generous donations are deeply appreciated.
Open your ears and crack some beers. You are listening to the most recent episode of Retro Hangover.
Retro and classic gamers, welcome to the podcast where we monitor megalomaniacs making magical muffins mandating musty memories. This is Retro Hangover. I am your co-host, Chris Copleen, with Keith Gasper from the Main Quest Podcast. And, as always, your host, Shane Maverick Salter.
I will also accept Sigma mode Dick Dragon. That's what the kids are into these days.
Sigma Dick. Oh man, it should have been Sigma Drick Dragon.
Sigma
Drick Dragon?
Sigma balls.
Sigma Drick Dragon?
Sigma Dick Dragon.
The Drake Dragon. The final
Drake
boss.
Dragon? No. I mean, we're adults. Drake doesn't want us.
That's true.
I think in our canon universe here, I think we can get rid of Sigma and add Smegma instead.
Smegma. Schmegma. Schmegma's the ultimate boss. Just can't get rid of it. Keith, how do you cure your Schmegma?
In the defungus chamber in the Mushroom Kingdom, when they stick the hot steam down your pants, that gets rid of all the Schmegma.
All of it. All of it.
That's only a reference if you've seen the 1993 Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Which is what me and Keith were doing last night in the hot Discord chat. In real time last night. Not probably when you're listening to this.
What do y'all know about snot eggs?
No. Anyway, welcome back to the show, Keith.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm good. You pulled me out of retirement, and you also pulled me from playing the game du jour. I'm a little upset, but it's fine. I will get right back to it after we're done recording.
That's how much you love this game. I admire your love for this game. I do. I don't know about Shane. Well, iffy from last week.
I have thoughts.
I thought you were about to say
have thoughts.
Yeah,
I thought you were about to say I have standards.
I mean that's debatable, but I mean I am a 40-year-old white man. I have thoughts in a podcast.
It's much more diverse than it was 5 years ago, Shane. You can't use that anymore. Sorry.
Us? I don't think we are.
What? Are we more diverse?
Have you gotten more diverse, Chris, since we last checked?
I was talking. I mean, you don't know. I don't know what I've been up to.
I'm looking at your white ass right now.
He has long hair. What else do you want from him?
Yeah. Now I have long hair.
Well, it's about time.
And a beard. Yeah.
Wait,
I'm
Shane
here.
also has long hair.
Yeah.
Wait, what's going on?
We all have long hair except for Keith. See, we have to be
my camera's
inclusive
not on
of
right
people
now.
who are short hairs. What are we doing? What am I doing? We're talking about
Podcasting.
Mega Man X. That's what we're doing.
I'm letting you do your thing. I
What
don't
is
have
my
my camera
thing?
connected, so I can't
I can't see you lounging in your like
not
recliner.
lazy boy.
Yeah, you're lazy boy.
I am a lazy boy. So I don't
Shit.
podcast anymore.
I've now seen you in real life. You are not a lazy boy. Not with that
That's
physique.
true. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's, that is not a fact. You cannot say you are a lazy boy.
Compliments will get you everywhere, Chris.
No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I will get as far as I need to. Didn't get as far as I wanted to, but you don't know what that is. I'm going to keep that a secret.
You're gonna make me bust lemons over here.
Bussy
I'm trying to
lemons?
help you with a segue.
Lemon bussy.
Lemon bussy.
Lemon bussy. Speaking of which, we're going to talk about what we've been playing lately, as we are wont to do. I don't know how those are related, but it sounds good. And we always start with our guest, which is Keith. So, Keith, what games have you been playing lately?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, sweet.
I know, right? I've just been really busy with just real life stuff. I could lie and tell you that I've been, I mean, I guess I can talk about it sort of, but I haven't really been playing it. It's a game called Beyond Galaxyland, which is kind of like it's like an RPG in the vein of like Super Mario RPG meets like Chrono Trigger meets Guardian of the Galaxy. It's really cool. But honestly, the last time I played that was maybe like a month ago. So I can't really say that I'm currently playing that.
Huh.
But what I have been doing is reading a book that is video game adjacent. It's called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. And it's I believe the author is Gabrielle Zevin, if I'm correct. And it's just it's a book about two game developers, and it just kind of follows their life from like early childhood to how they met up, and through how they've kind of developed a video game together. I don't know what the author's like ties to the game industry is, or if they have any ties to the industry at all. It is a nonfiction, or it is a fiction book, rather, fictional book. So it's like, as I was reading it, I was like, wait a minute, is this real? Just because of like how, doing a podcast like this and like kind of being in the zeitgeist and in the know of how the industry kind of works, really had me thinking that this fictional book was nonfiction, because a lot of the ways the characters interact with each other and like some of the terminology used in the book had me thinking like the game was real, and like the interviews that they talk about, like when the developers were like talking to Kotaku and Games Radar and stuff like that. And even the references to like John Romero and some other like game developers and stuff like that. It's quite believable. I'm like 8 chapters in, which isn't like, I think it's like a quarter of the way, probably. It's really good. It's interesting. I don't know how many of your listeners would be interested in it. It's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of a love story, but not really.
Gross.
I don't really know. I know. Disgusting. Also, books. Gross. Who wants to read?
Reading?
So
We're a
boring.
bunch of fucking
We're
nerds.
here to play video games.
Yeah.
Yeah, nerd alert. But yeah, it's fascinating. It's also a little gross, as game developers. The book takes place in the 90s, and so it was kind of a boys' club. For the most part, it still kind of is as far as game development goes. But a lot of those guys were gross, and a lot of the guys in the book are gross. So it's that
You
was
are
one of the
talking
things.
about a stereotype where people have to beg attendance of video game conventions to wear deodorant.
Mm-hmm.
That's a stereotype for a reason. I definitely can see how these people could be gross.
Okay, yes, okay, but I'm also talking like personality wise, not the physical stench of. Although I'm sure they do smell, but that's just part of the medium, or that's just something that the medium cannot. I guess it can't. I guess books can't portray a smelly person. They have decided not to do that, thankfully.
Scratch and sniff.
Earthbound tried.
Yes. Oh, so you're saying the pages could be scratch and sniff?
Could be. We could get there if we tried.
But anyway, that's what I've been up to. It's a good book. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. Maybe check it out.
Okay.
Maybe.
Go check out Gross Men that turn into werewolves with giant penises.
Oh, okay. That went in a different direction. All right.
Now it becomes a female book.
Bestseller, popular on Book Talk.
I thought you were talking about Sonic the Hedgehog at first. He turns into a werewolf and has a big penis.
There you go. It was trying to attract a female audience.
Can't argue with that.
Exactly.
Excuse me, werehog, which I think is also what he calls his penis. This is the werehog.
I was going to say that is absolutely the name of his penis. Yeah.
What do you call Knuckles? I mean, do they get 4 names?
Yeah, man.
Shane, what have you been playing?
I mean, does it even matter at this point? Nothing really. I keep wanting to actually play the Lord of Hatred expansion for Diablo 4 because I've been seeing nothing but glowing praise for it, but haven't had time. So I played the game du jour, which I actually finished. I am happy to say. Unfortunately, that is a increasingly rare happenstance these days, so I'm pleased about that. And I am also in the midst of playing our next upcoming game as well. I am grinding random battles for Zenny, so I may buy equipment.
That's a fun thing to do in next game.
Woo!
Yeah. Zenny grinding. It's why we have OnlyFans.
So that's a whole different kind of grinding, Chris.
Oh. Were we playing the same game?
Well, no, I don't know now.
It's not a mobile game with access to your camera?
Well, now I want to know about that, but no.
Oh.
So I guess that's a good segue into what you're playing. Tell us about your phone gooning game, Chris.
I play Gex. Not Enter the Gecko.
Enter.
It's the first one.
And you do enter that gecko.
You entered something.
Let me tell you what.
Yeah.
So Gex is a lizard, and you control him, and he whips his tail, and he also has a tongue that eats things. Start on 3DO.
Eats lemon bussy.
You sure you're not talking about Yoshi?
That's Croc.
Oh. What?
Anyway,
Sure.
it's Gex is a good game. I was having fun with that. That's for IO Saturnalia. I said I was going to get back on a roll after I beat Breath of Fire 3, I think, or if I made enough progress in Doom 64, which we're playing which we're going to be talking about in a little while. I've already put down Doom 64, so there's a kind of a preview of my thoughts on that.
How dare you?
Then I played the game after that, and the game after that might be my favorite first-person shooter ever. I'm having such a good time with it.
Wow.
I love it. So happy. Everyone will know what that is. They don't know already. But in terms of games, no, I did watch. This is a shout out to the Main Quest podcast Discord channel. I watched the Super Mario Brothers movie, as we talked about earlier. It was a good time watching that. Mario, in terms of the dating scene, shoots way above his punching weight. But you know what? Bob Hoskins is obliterated and a fantastic actor, so that might not be true. Good for him. Good for Mario. He knows what to do. He is a ladies' man. Also figured that the most efficient way in the Mushroom Kingdom to advance the ruling class is that you have to take out your president to restore your king. That's the political scene in Super Mario Brothers. Political violence to restore the monarchy.
It's worked in the past.
Prophetic, one might say.
You want a monarchy?
I don't know. Who are you asking?
I don't know.
Yeah, who you asking? Both of us? I mean, listen, I'll take any type of change at this point. I really don't care.
Let's get the monarchy. Look, it worked for France after they got Napoleon. France did really well after Napoleon, or with Napoleon.
What about an anarcho-syndicateless commune? Have we tried that yet?
No, that would fail.
No.
That's so stupid.
But we could elect an officer.
It sounds nice.
Yeah.
Sounds nice. It's done.
All decisions should be ratified by that
Americans
officer.
can't pronounce that.
A special bi-weekly
it's
meeting.
Stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how much effort, like the fact that you have to put that? No. We just want to go to McDonald's.
We could hold the meetings at McDonald's.
No, but people don't want to go in McDonald's.
Oh, we could hold the meetings outside McDonald's.
Well, people don't like going outside.
Do people even work at McDonald's? Because I've seen a lot of like reports on how like you walk into a McDonald's and it's just nothing but screens.
Oh, I haven't been inside a McDonald's in years. I've only seen the drive-through people.
I maintain at this point that the downfall of America began when the dine-in experience of Pizza Hut went away.
I thought it was Harambe.
I mean, it could be that too, but I'm sticking with Pizza Hut. I feel like that was an indicator.
You know what? Some people have said it was when the Dreamcast when it fell. That was right around the same time.
See?
You might be on something, Shane.
There you go. We lost something as a culture when we no longer had stained glass Pizza Hut lights above our tables and leather-bound seats to sit upon for our questionable quality personal pan pizzas.
Delicious.
My question for you guys is, when will all this technology, like the self-checkout line and all this, the AI tablets at McDonald's, go rogue and become Mavericks?
Oh,
you know what? Look at that. I do want to get into that story. That's a great segue.
Trying to bring things back down to what we're
trying to
for.
make this a video game podcast instead of a bunch of middle-class millennials complaining about the world. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some Mega Man X.
Well, shit. All
Shane,
right.
give me an intro.
I gotta set this up now. This is not awkward at all. Hey, Chris, we do things about histories of stuff on this show, and I think it's your turn. So you should talk about the history of Mega Man X.
All right, let's set the stage. By the early 90s, Mega Man was basically the NES's golden child. 6 games in, and Capcom was still churning them out. Even though the Super Nintendo had been out for years. I mean, Mega Man 6 dropped 2 full years into the Super Nintendo's life cycle. Talk about commitment to the bit, right? Fans were starting to wonder if the Blue Bomber was just going to live in 8-bit purgatory forever. But Capcom had a plan. They handed the keys to the Dream Team, Takuro Fujiwara and Keiji Inafune, and told them to get weird. They wanted something fresh, something gritty. Inafune actually designed X to look completely different, but the suits got cold feet. So we got the Mega Man X we know today, while that original radical design became Zero. You know, the guy who actually looks cool and makes X looks like he's wearing training wheels. They ditched Dr. Wily, moved the plot far into the future, and introduced Sigma, the reoccurring villain who just won't take a hint. It all made its big debut at E3 1993 and CES 1994. The game hit shelves in Japan in late 93 and reached North America in January of 94. Famitsu in Japan was meh about it with a 26 out of 40. But Western critics absolutely lost their minds. It pulled an 89% aggregate score, with critics basically saying it's too easy, but otherwise, it's perfect. And the public agreed to the tune of 1.2 million copies sold. Not too bad for a too easy game. Fast forward to today, and X grew its own series of notoriety. 7 mainline sequels and a few spin-offs of its own, just like its parent franchise, including the fan favorite Mega Man Zero series. It's not just a sequel, it's a masterclass in how to evolve a franchise, and it remains one of the crown jewels of the Super Nintendo's library. And that is your brief history of Mega Man X.
All right. Thank you very much, Chris, for the brief history.
Yay.
You know, for as much as I've played this game, and I have played this game a lot, I never actually really knew anything about it. And so when you said that, Keiji Inafune was in charge of creating kind of like a grittier Mega Man, and that I was like sitting there wondering like what the scrapped concept was looking like until you mentioned Zero. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
I'm sort of glad they kind of reined in Inafune a bit, because we did see what happens when Inafune has no governance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy that he had support. You know, Fujiwara is a legend. I think he has a lot to do with that. You know who Fujiwara is? The mind behind. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ghosts and Goblins, Resident Evil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that probably has a lot to do with how this game formed out. I mean, it is a grittier version of Mega Man. There's no way around that.
Oh no, there's an immediate tone shift before you even hit the main menu of it.
Oh yeah.
There's like the diagnostic sequence or whatever, like you're kind of like booting up an old DOS game or something like that. And then something, terribly goes wrong. Like, I mean, a lot of the Mega Man games kind of, I guess starting at 2, kind of had like this melancholy to it almost, where Mega Man is almost kind of like, there's always like a scene at the beginning or at the end where Mega Man is kind of like, wow, what has the future become? What have I done? Millions of lives are lost due to Dr. Wily. It's like,
it gets real heavy-handed at the end too.
It's just,
I don't want to like skip all the way to the end, but the end credits with him just like standing on a fucking cliff and it being like, what hath I wrought? Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the series has always kind of been like that. Like, I look at like Mega Man 3, and is Mega Man 3 the end where it's like Proto Man is like in the clouds or something like that, and like Mega Man's kind of like looking over like a valley or something like that. I don't know. It's just like, it's very melodramatic, and it's very juxtaposed to like kind of the cutesy robots you're blowing up throughout the game.
It's very anime-esque. It met the tone of anime at the time, and you could argue Mega Man X did too.
Sure.
This is very anime inspired.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, I think right off the bat, like just the intro sequence, if that's kind of what we're kind of getting into a little bit, there is kind of a tonal shift.
No, yes. I mean, it's a little bit darker. You could tell it's darker. You have like it's not like, compare it to Mega Man 4, which also has like a melancholy kind of opening where bombs are exploding all over the city. Everyone's getting blown up and shit. And then it shows Mega Man on a train, and he's going really fast, and then he puts on the Mega Buster, and like, so like, oh yeah, we're gonna fuck shit up. And this one, it just shows like a diametric, and there's like a warning sign, like warning lights and everything like that, just to kind of set the mood. And that is a definite tonal shift. It's anime, yeah, sure, because it still looks anime. The Mega Man X's design is still an anime design. Zero is very much an anime design. But like you get to the opening stage, which we'll get to in a little bit. But it's not like cute and colorful. It's almost a little dystopian. It's like post, like I don't want to say post-apocalyptic, but it's definitely you're going through a city that's destroyed, and you don't really see that in any of the other Mega Man games. Like everything's still bright, cheery, colorful, everything's together. There's certain exceptions, but it's really the exception, not the rule for the main Mega Man series, which much more bright and colorful. This is just darker in general. Anyway, that means that we kind of jumped ahead to the story a little bit. Let's backtrack and get into our own personal experiences. I have a very good idea of which order we should do this in. So starting with least experience to possibly most, I think myself and Keith are going to be relatively equal. But so Shane, how about you let us know what your personal experiences are with Mega Man X?
How dare you just assume that I don't have anything?
I don't think I'm assuming here.
Well, in this case, you'd be right, but it's still offensive. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I remember seeing the box art. It's pretty sick. I honestly don't know. I don't want to say I purposefully stayed away from it because I don't think that was the case. But this was at a time when, I had a Super Nintendo. I was playing other Super Nintendo games, getting unreasonably good at Contra 3. And like, this should have been like, now that I've played it, if I had owned this game, I think it would have been there with Contra for me, I think, if I'm being honest. So the only reason I could think of that I didn't was probably just some like residual sort of knowledge via osmosis about the Mega Man series. And I say that because I didn't really play the originals on the NES like much at all, but I always knew that they were fucking pretty difficult, and they had the whole like rock, paper, scissor mechanic with the bosses. And that, I mean, for what it's worth, I still don't super love that idea even now, but I think I don't know. I think I kind of gave it a wide berth and never gave it a chance. So I didn't really have much experience with it at all until we decided we were going to talk about it. And then we played the first Mega Man for the NES, and I was like, well, this doesn't bode well. But minor spoiler. I mean, this went better. So yeah, practically all of my experience with Mega Man X is within the last like 3 weeks.
Nice.
All of my willpower is going to go towards refraining from telling you that you're wrong, Shane.
About what specifically?
I'm going to do my best about anything you have to say about this game.
Oh, great.
Any way you may besmirch its legacy, I will not take well, and I will not hear any of it, sir.
Great.
I just found out that you had never played this game like 5 hours ago, and I almost
He
left
was
work.
unusually upset.
I almost went to HR and said I have to leave for the day.
There has been a tragedy.
Somebody hasn't played Mega Man X.
Keith almost went full Karen over something that wasn't even around, that there was no manager for. That's how upset he was.
Shay, let me speak to your manager.
I don't know. I wish I knew who that was.
You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, my personal experience with this is I played a lot of Mega Man as a child. I was playing a lot of Mega Man 4. I didn't get into Mega Man 5. Like 1 through 4, I played a ton of Mega Man 1 through 4. And I was hooked on Mega Man and played some for the Game Boy. So was very excited about this game when it came out at release, and played the absolute hell out of this game. I don't think, I mean, it took me a while for me to beat it. But I mean, I can beat this game easily, very easily now. But yeah, this is one of those games that I grew up with. This is a game that I fundamentally love. I have tried to find a way to play this game on every official release that has come out. Since I think I've calmed down a little bit. Ironically, since I got the Wii U version, I haven't really tried to get like any of the Legacy Collection stuff. Like, why? I have the Wii U version. I have the Super Nintendo Mini. I have the Legacy Collection for the GameCube. I don't have a physical copy of the original though. I need to fix that. But yeah, this is a fundamental core part of my gaming experience and gaming life. That is what Mega Man X is to me. I don't remember like wanting it for a birthday or a Christmas present or anything like that. It's just one of those games that I could have been born with it. It's just like that integral to my gaming experience. I don't specifically remember when this game came out. I don't particularly care because it was just that much of a like central figure in my gaming life. It's incredible how much Mega Man X has been part of my gaming journey. How about you, Keith?
Yeah, so I grew up playing the Mega Man games since the inception of Mega Man. We got the first game probably right around when that came out. So like 88, somewhere around there.
89.
Well,
88.
I think it came out I think it came out like late 87 or something like that. So I think we probably would have gotten it around 88 or something. Like I probably got it like for my birthday. So I like Mega Man. I do. It's such a hit or miss series with me. And so growing up, like I never really, as a kid, could never beat any of the original series games. They were just way too difficult. But because as the style was at the time, it was just kind of all that I had to play. And so I just had to try and get better at them. And I enjoyed them for what they were, you know, but after a while, they just kind of became a blur because they were just kind of the same games over and over again. And then we got the Super Nintendo. And we were playing the F-Zeros and the Super Mario Brothers and the Castlevania 4s and all of that. And eventually, I don't remember how we got it. I think we just got it because it was a new Mega Man game. And we got Mega Man X, which I thought was Mega Man 10 because I had Mega Man's 1 through 5. And I'm sitting there like, is this a Final Fantasy? Well, I didn't know what Final Fantasy was yet at the time, but it's like, was this a situation where there were 4 other Mega Man games that didn't come out here or something? Like, why is this? I know what Roman numerals are. It's like, so it was confusing at first. And my brothers was like, no, like that's his name. His name is X. It's not really Mega Man. And I'm like, oh, what? That's weird. Okay. Meanwhile, there's new Mega Man games coming on the NES, which we were also still getting. What a weird time to be alive. But anyway, Mega Man X was the first Mega Man game that I did beat on my own. I mean, holy shit, dude. This is going to be one of those episodes, and I don't get these very often, and there's very few games that I can say this about, but there's no way I can like look at this game critically. I can't.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to sound absolutely putrid on this episode.
I might be the same. It's fair.
So yeah, and I've pretty much made it my mission to play this game at least once a year, every year. I just mentioned at the top of the show, I didn't think I was going to get time to play it for this episode, but I had about an hour to kill before I had to be here. And I was like, you know what? Let's see how far I can get. I've never actually did a speed run of Mega Man X before. And I got through all the main Mavericks. I didn't get all the collectibles. I think I was missing the helmet upgrade. But yeah, I've played this game more than I've wiped my ass. So
I feel like I'm concerned about your hygiene now.
Oh, don't be. My ass is incredibly clean.
He waxes it. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Onlyfans.com/the main quest.
You get whole.
Right. You could eat off of it. And he does.
I want that. I want that flexibility.
Kind of like you, Chris. I own like at least like 4 different versions of Mega Man X in some variation of compilation and whatever have you.
Mhm.
So, yeah, Mega Man X, it's great.
Spoiled the end of the show. Damn it, Keith.
Shit.
You know what's funny though is that when Mega Man X came out, there were 9 Mega Mans that were released. Yeah, the 5 NES games.
Well, see, I also
and the 4 Game Boy games.
I never, still to this day, I have not touched any of those Game Boy games.
You should. I know you hate yourself.
I know. I've heard some of them are actually really good.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember which ones those are.
5.
Off the top of my
5
head.
is supposed to be really good.
Is it? Okay.
Because it's different.
Yeah, I had not touched any of those. Yeah, it like kind of like the original series. I'm not a fan of a lot of the Mega Man X games either. Like, I really like the first game, and that's kind of it.
You know what? I'm with you on that. It's one, like, I only like 2 of them, which is the first and the 4th one. That's it.
Like, I think, I hear arguments for like the second and the third one. I just feel like they just started adding too much bullshit to those games.
Yes.
And this is just that Mega Man formula, like in its, well, I wouldn't say in its purest form,
no,
but it is very much that established formula from those NES games with just like a little bit extra to make it feel like a little more.
Did you say
I guess
extra?
modern. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Also, growing up, I thought Zero was a girl.
I did for a while too.
Yeah. I also thought that.
Because he's kind of got titties on his armor.
He does. They're not pecs.
And then the long hair.
Yeah. Long blonde hair. The Sydney Sweeney of his time.
So I was like, finally, a female character in a Mega Man game that matters.
I mean, role mattered.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. Did she though?
And, no.
Exactly.
All right. Speaking of bullshit, let's get to the story of Mega Man X. I can't read it out of the manual because it's just the Journal of Dr. Kane. And it's written in almost like Resident Evil style journal segments.
It is Capcom.
It is Capcom. They were getting it ready for later on. So I will just try and summarize it. I'm not too familiar with the plot, to be honest with you, but from what I understand, Dr. Light this is like 1,000 years ago, made Mega Man X, who has enhanced AI, but he's worried that Mega Man, or that X, because he's no longer Mega Man, he's X, is not going to be a good AI bot. And so he's worried about the morality. So he seals him up for a long time and decides that he can't be released, or X can't be released, it's a robot, until its morality parameters are correct. Well, flash forward into the future, X gets released, and now you have an entire, like, world of robots called Reploids, which essentially are human helpers. But one of those Reploids named Sigma goes Maverick, and I think in Maverick Hunter X, you find out it's like some sort of disease or something that's infecting them. I'm not sure. Or they want to rebel against the system because they're edgy teenagers or middle-class millennials, and they just hate everything about the world and want to, just rebel against it. And now X has to go and stop Sigma and the 8 Mavericks that joined him, all with their animal glory. So the future is furry. That's what Mega Man X is trying to say.
Nice.
Shane, what did you think of Mega Man X's story?
I mean, it's fine. I don't know. Like, I didn't have any other than playing the very first game. I didn't really have any like context for any of this. It's not deep in the Mega Man lore or anything. So, they throw around those things like, it's 100 years after the whatever in the 22nd century. And I'm like, okay, yes, future. Great. Love that. And then, Dr. Kane finds a capsule and he does the thing and makes Reploids. And it's like Jurassic Park where he's like, you never thought about whether you should, but you did. And then they go crazy. And then they're like, we should genocide all the humans because that's the inevitable end goal for all AI, I think. So
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be correct.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, it's, fine. It's something to hang the gameplay on, and that's, I think, really all we needed.
All right. Keith, you've played this game more than you've wiped your ass. Maybe you can fill in the gaps for us. Appropriately speaking.
Of filling in the gaps. Yeah. If anybody knows me, they won't be surprised when I say I really don't give a shit about the story. But I will say, like, I think that's the edge for me that this game has over the rest of the series, because it just devolves into, again, just this over the top melodramatic anime bullshit. And it's like, I can't keep up with what characters have a virus and how the virus is mutated. And Sigma is technically not a physical entity anymore, but like an apparition that appears to Zero in his nightmares or something. I don't know, like robot's dream, I guess. I don't know.
Electric sheep.
Yeah. Something farm animals. I mean, it's kind of the same story as the first Mega Man, just switching up some characters here and there. And that's kind of what this does, what a lot of Super Nintendo games were doing around that time, in which it is not really a reboot, but it's also not really a sequel either, like Super Metroid or A Link to the Past or Super Mario World or Castlevania 4. Even though Castlevania 4
very much a reboot.
Has a number in it. Yeah, that's for another podcast. This was very much like, yeah, this is a brand new thing, but also it's not, because Dr. Light is involved. I think Dr. Wily gets brought up later on in the series. So it is very much still a continuation of that original storyline, but it takes place so far in the future and all of that. But it is still it's still a very easy story to follow, and I think I like it just because of that. But yeah, again, I think that's just kind of one of the things I like about it over a lot of the sequels.
I think you hit some important points here, Keith, because generally speaking, I don't give a shit about this game's plot either. I think it's a little cool to see it in Maverick Hunter X, which is the remake for the PSP, where they try to get a little bit more in depth in the game itself about what's going on. But then I kind of play it. I'm like, this is cool, but it's also annoying. I just want to shoot the Maverick Hunters. I don't care what they think. I like blowing them up. It's fun. And I think what you see here is also what you see from a lot of other games of this era. And I think, it's just how they design games. Is there might be a lot of plot and lore that's going on to set up the stage, but the game doesn't really do a great job of explaining it, and the player isn't generally expected to care. They kind of try in the opening scene where you fight this guy named Vile. Why are you fighting Vile? Because he's a bad guy with an energy meter and he's shooting at you. That's why you're fighting Vile. You don't really care about his name. He's just a guy in purple who looks like Boba Fett from Star Wars, and you just got to shoot at him because he looks evil. And then here comes Zero. Who's Zero? Does it really matter? He just saved your ass, and you're like, okay, this guy's cool. He has a sword, and he's talking to me, and he says, one day I'll be as cool as he is. And you're like, yeah, I want to be as cool as you are. And that's the plot of the game. The plot of the game is, can you be as cool as Zero? And you're like, who's this bald Sigma fuck? I guess that's the bad guy. They don't really explain why you should care about him in the game. You just go there, and they kind of do a cool design with the letter Sigma. And they make it into like an animal wolf head. But like, you don't care who Sigma is. And once you like defeat Vile, you're like, okay, there's another guy. But that was just Mega Man. Like, was there ambition for Wily before in the Mega Man series? Yeah, absolutely. I think they did a better job of explaining that in the intro to 4. That's why you have the intro to 4 the way you do. It's because they're like, oh yeah, this is the entire plot of Mega Man explained 4 games in for anyone who wasn't reading the manuals, just so you know. And that's kind of how X flows too. It's like, yeah, we know you don't care. Do you know why you're fighting them? It's a video game. Like, you've played Mega Man before. You know how this works. Pick something, go into the level, hope to find the weakness. If you don't have the weakness, you'll figure it out, maybe, and have a good time. And that's the plot of Mega Man X. It doesn't really matter because there's no exposition between the opening stages and when Zero gets nerfed or yeeted. Zero gets yeeted. I don't know how kids talk anymore, but yeah, that's the extent of the exposition in Mega Man X. Oh, and when you find the capsules, which only one of which you're pretty much mandated to do. That's it.
I think the kids would now say that Zero is Buns.
Oh, you got Buns. How about unalived? Are we still saying unalived? Is that still a cool thing to say?
The algorithm dictates that, yes.
Oh, yes.
Only if this is going on YouTube.
Oh, I don't care.
I will say, of all the times that I have played this game, it's not because of the story.
No.
Definitely not. I'm not coming back to the deep Mega Man lore.
Well,
I'm not coming back for the deep Mega Man lore.
I'll say I don't know about either of you, but I know that I couldn't not think about the sequelitis episode about this in the intro when I was playing it, which is funny.
I was waiting for this to get brought up.
Yep, because like I never would have. Here's okay. This is something I need to admit that I generally, and this applies to like movies and stuff too, I like to pretend that I'm like real deep and shit, but most of the time that just goes right the fuck over my head like the first time, and I have to like think about it more later and come back to it. And if I had not seen that sequelitis episode about this, I would have those thoughts would have never crossed my mind, of like, oh man, like this is a really great intro to the game, and like they're showing and not telling, and like, oh man, like I'm motivated to want to be as cool as X now. Like none of those thoughts would have crossed my head. I just fucking nothing, just blank, just smooth brain pew pew action. So I mean, I guess that's good because that's what I was thinking about as I was playing it. And I was like, oh yeah, you know what? He's right. Like this is actually really well structured, and they're good game design. But I never would have come up with that on my own.
Yeah, that was a good segue into the gameplay. I did want to ask Keith in terms of the plot. If you're not playing for the plot, then what are we fighting for? But Shane did a good job of getting us in the gameplay here, which he's right. He's right. So what is Mega Man X? Well, we talked about Mega Man last time. It's the same thing as that. It's a 2D platform, sort of a running gun, I guess, where it's non-linear. You get to pick the bosses in the order you want to. There's 8 stages. And then you go to a final series of stages, which leads up to the final boss. That's Mega Man X. But Shane touched on something very important. If you've seen Sequelitis, it goes over this very well, too. The opening stage is just a testament to what you're getting into in terms of the quality and overall mindset in terms of the expert design that went into Mega Man X. It's just one of the smartest opening stages ever created for some of the reasons. I know we're going to get into more here soon, but I'm going to kick it over to Keith. Keith, what do you think of the gameplay here? I want you to shill.
Do we have to give Aaron Hansen royalties every time we mention that? I feel
think,
like,
I don't know. Hasn't he given up on Ego Raptor at this point? Like, I mean,
I don't know.
He can take all the money we make off our YouTube posting of this. I promise.
Okay.
Yes. Please copyright strike us. for all that cash.
It's all yours, Aaron.
So yeah, gameplay. You jump and you shoot. I mean, what else do you need from a Mega Man game? What if he could also slide? What if also he
dashes.
But he does that. He dashes. Excuse me. He slides in the original games.
Yes.
What if you could also wall jump? That would be pretty fucking cool too.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, it just feels so damn good, and I think like having the added benefit of wall jumping. I don't remember what outlet you mentioned in the brief history who said that it was easier.
All of them.
It's hard. All of them. Everyone. Okay. Well, yes. So I've played this game so many times that I don't even know what that means, but I can tell you that I could maybe see where they're coming from, because now, like, all of those cheap deaths that you would be used to in the original games are completely nullified by the fact, like, you're just not falling into a pit of spikes anymore and immediately dying. Like, you can just jump right out of them. You can avoid knockback. The blind jumps or leaps of faith that you have to take in this game are better designed, and they're not completely made to fuck you over because, again, you have the added benefit of the dash and the wall jump. So it feels as snappy and as deliberate as the NES era games, but just like a lot faster. And the fact that this game also, on top of, I'm going to keep on saying the Robot Masters, the Mavericks, on top of getting the power-ups that the Mavericks give you, you also have the added benefit of the armor upgrades, the health upgrades, the E-tanks, which are things that you don't technically have to get. So if you are just good at the game, that could, especially if you're coming from the NES era, just getting good at the game is rewarding enough. And then on top of that, you get like these awesome bonuses, especially if you're doing all the exploration and stuff. And, you know, I think it goes without saying, considering how much I've said that I have played this game, it's like almost infinitely replayable in the fact that there's no, like, any one playthrough of this game is going to be completely different from, you know, one another. I just, before the podcast tonight, I played it in like a weird order that I have never played it in. I always start with Chill Penguin because he's a chill boy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll either go to Spark Mandrill or the Eagle.
Storm Eagle.
Storm Eagle.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll go to one of those two. But this time, I decided to go to Boomer Kawanger for some reason, which is really weird.
That's random.
And it's very tough to beat him Buster only. We'll talk about bosses later, I'm sure. At this point, I'm kind of ranting, but I think this is the best, especially up to the point of its release, the best Mega Man has ever felt to play. And for me personally, like, this is kind of the apex of any one of the series.
Shane, what'd you think?
Yeah. So what kind of
newcomer perspective?
Yeah. So what kicked off the conversation of, oh shit, like, this is the first time Shade's ever played this game, was me throwing a message into our Discord chat saying, like, well, I rolled credits and sure liked this a lot better than Mega Man 1. Yeah, it's so okay. I sort of agree that it is like as snappy, I suppose, as the NES Mega Man, but also the gameplay feel is much better here in my personal opinion. It's a lot smoother to me. It feels more responsive, and whether it genuinely is or not, I'm not entirely sure, but there's a certain something to like the feel of a game and how it controls that doesn't necessarily directly translate to, you know, hard numbers behind, the code. So there's just something here that really does make it feel a lot smoother. And perhaps it's, just the I guess the tightness of the movement, which helps a lot. And the addition of the traversal mechanics like the wall jumping and things like that. It feels real good to play. And I know this is kind of going into the next topic a little bit, but it does have to do with the gameplay as well. And that is that like the animation, particularly of X, is just so buttery smooth that it complements the gameplay controls so well that it is really a treat to play. It feels really good. And I will say that I don't really give a shit if people were like, oh man, this is like Babby Mega Man. It's so easy. They gave all this stuff to make the game easier. Yeah, well, you know what? Fuck you, because I actually think that like objectively improves the game. I think the inclusion of, the very light RPG elements, like collecting the 4 different suit upgrades, like the helmet and the armor and the buster and like all and the feats, all of that stuff. Like I really enjoyed having that as an option and finding those, as well as knowing that there's like a heart tank in every level, or heart upgrade rather, and then the sub tanks to find for the additional health. I really liked that, and I think it strikes a really good balance between what it sounds like maybe the bloat of the later X series ended up being. I haven't played those either, so I don't know, but a good balance between like the Ubisoft like find 100 feathers you fuck, and then like Mega Man 1 being like there's nothing at all to find, it's just a straight up platformer. This to me feels like the perfect middle ground. Like there's just enough to want to make you want to find these things, but it's focused enough that you don't feel overwhelmed by it. Like it's a very clear goal. You're just like, there are these 4 things and there is 1 heart thing in every level. And when I find it, I know I can check that fucking level off the list and I never have to go back. And it's really satisfying. Like it's a manageable amount of things to include. But they do have like a really big impact on the game, because like I know people could do it. I would never try to beat this game without all of the upgrades, because it's rough. It's still rough. Like it's still not an easy game, like comparatively to the originals, I suppose. Yes, but it definitely still has a bit of a challenge there. But as I kind of mentioned earlier, and then I'll wrap up my diatribe so Chris can say what he wants to say. But I definitely can see how if I had this game and had given it a fair shot, and it was in my, modest library of Super Nintendo cartridges that I had back in the day, I 100% would think that this would have been up there with Contra 3 for me as like something that I would have replayed enough to where I would just like know it like the back of my hand, because there's a lot of similarity. Obviously it's a side-scrolling run and gun, so I mean like it seems like it would fit perfectly into that same sort of category, I guess, for me. So yeah, no, overall I actually think the gameplay is great. Like it feels really good to play.
Before you go, Chris, I just want to say, like, I guess I had never thought about, I think that's one of the reasons why I don't like a lot of those later sequels, is because of the bloat. You want to go find 0 parts? No, thank you. Do you
absolutely not?
Do you want to go fight these mini bosses in some arbitrary order so that you could maybe play 0 for 5 seconds at the end of the game? No, thank you. I'm okay. Do you want to go find these chips to upgrade your armor that you may or may not have, like you might have one chance to go get? No, I don't. If I missed it, I missed it. I'm not fucking going back. Like it gets to be a little too much.
Do you want to be on a timer that you're not really told about? Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No.
I don't want to go through those portals. No, I'm okay.
So a lot of the things that were already said, I fully agree with. I don't want to keep harping on that and going back to the well here. I do think the game it controls very well. I think it's more smooth than precise. One of the things, because I've been talking with some people about the Ninja Gaiden games, it seems to borrow some inspiration from Ninja Gaiden in terms of just getting a level flow. You could also say it steals a little bit from the Sunsoft Batman game with all the wall jumping. Not as precise, but I mean, there's a lot of elements in both those games combined that lead up to what you're getting in Mega Man X. And I'm sure there's some other games that had some inspiration. Maybe Bonk inspired Mega Man X. I mean, who knows, right? Who knows?
Interesting. I would have never drawn that conclusion, but maybe.
I mean, Bonk stands at the edge of a cliff at the end of Bonk's Revenge, and so does Mega Man X. So, I mean, hey, it's something there. But what I really admire about Mega Man X in particular is the fact that it rewards you as a player for knowing how to play the game. Like there are little rewards that you can find every single time if you're new to this game, in terms of how you defeat bosses, going back to levels, just level progression, and how you tackle things that may not always be evident to the player the first time they go through them. So for anyone who's been playing Mega Man X for a very long time, and I'm sure there's a ton of them, if you're listening to this episode, you're probably a Mega Man X fan. You already know that you have to go through Chill Penguin first. Why? Because Chill Penguin has the dash. Without the dash, you are extremely limited in how you can go through other levels. In fact, Mega Man X almost makes you are made. It is mandatory. You will get the dash before the game is over. Everything else is optional. But it's not that like everything else is mandatory. You don't need to get the armor. You don't need to get the helmet. The helmet's practically worthless. You will get the arm upgrade, whether you like it or not, at the end of the game, but you can get it early if you know how to do things, and that is where the helmet actually comes into play. But these are things that a first-time player isn't necessarily going to experience. These are things that take time to learn, and it's a short enough game, once you learn how to get through it, that coming back to it, you're almost encouraged to find more. So again, if you like Mega Man X, go through Chill Penguin first, you defeat Chill Penguin, and I always wondered what was going on in Flame Mammoth stage. Why, when you went there, why is this such a pansy stage? Why is everything frozen? Why is this isn't a fire level? But the thing is, if you go to Flame Mammoth stage before Chill Penguin, it's an entire, everything's on fire. It is a fire level because defeating Chill Penguin changes Flame Mammoth stage. And then after I go to Chill Penguin, I always go to Storm Eagle. So I don't even have a muscle memory for Spark Mandrill stage before defeating Storm Eagle, because if you defeat Storm Eagle before Spark Mandrill, all of the hazards in the first part of that stage go away because Storm Eagle's plane base crashes into Spark Mandrill's area. So the worlds interact with each other based off what the map is. And these are all cool little rewards that you get just from knowing how to play the game over and over and over again. And generally games do have this, and this is not something unique to Mega Man X, but this is something that I think was still in kind of its primacy in how it applied to games back then, especially in a mainstream way, and something that gamers hadn't fully appreciated yet. It certainly wasn't happening in the previous Mega Man games, those little things. Yes, there are rewards for knowing what weapon is optimal in every area, but it wasn't these stage altering things depending on how you defeated the bosses in a certain order. Those things were all new and relatively, for Mega Man especially, revolutionary, even though I don't think they really capitalized them in any significant way in the main series, at least. And like I said, I don't really care for the X series outside of the first one, and maybe 4, and you go back and play 4 again. But I don't remember seeing that much of a difference from stage to stage. Very unique, very cool. Also, the fact that the E-tanks are now chargeable as opposed to just being E-tanks, they're now sub-tanks, and you have to charge them. I think that is a nice touch. And just having all these upgrades to your health, all these upgrades to X's person, makes it just feel different enough from the original formula to keep it fresh. And just overall, it's just, I don't know. I know I'm rambling and just hyping this game up to an inordinate degree, but those are just things. They're little wrinkles that make Mega Man X stand out so much more from other run and guns action platformers of the time that show just this attention to detail and expert craftsmanship that I already said that you get in that introductory stage that teaches you how to play the game without having a radio buddy constantly phone into you and tell you exactly what to do. And there's just little bits and pieces of that all throughout the game the entire time, if you're just willing to pay attention to what the game is trying to tell you. Oh, and the weapons aren't useless. Boss weapons have application. And that is also fantastic. So yeah, undeniably, the control in this game is definitely an improvement over the 8-bit ones in terms of the capacity of what they can do, because you cannot do the gamut of options and fluid controls that you could do on an 8-bit system. Now, one minor complaint, but you can fix this. If you have the default controls, you will have to arrange your hand into a claw form so you can press the dash and jump button while charging the Mega Buster all at the same time.
Yeah.
Or the X Buster. That's the only issue. But I always map the dash to R. So there's that.
I just tap.
Tap?
Yeah, I just
Like
tap
double tap?
the D-pad.
Yeah, for
Double tap
dash.
the D-pad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I map it to R.
I will say that I accidentally experienced some of those stage changes.
Wait, you mean you accidentally?
Oh my god!
Accidentally.
The whole fucking episode.
Yeah, accidentally.
X.
Yeah.
Yes, because okay. Like full disclosure, I ended up kind of using some internet information about halfway through to like kind of figure out the order to finish things. But I went into this attempting to try to play it as if, you know, I just bought the game for my Super Nintendo and I was sitting down to figure it out. And so I looked at the bosses and I was like, well, some of these are obvious as to what they are. So you know what? I'm going to start with Flame Mammoth because I feel like if I get his weapon, that seems like something that melts ice. So that's probably a good against Chill Penguin. So following that logic, the first stage I played was Flame Mammoth. So I saw all of the fire and everything in all of its glory. And then when I came back to it, because there was, I think, the heart piece that was at the bottom that's like impossible to get to while the fire's active. I was like, well, I guess I got to come back for that later. And I came back to it actually a while later. And I was thinking like, how the fuck am I going to get this, dude? Like, I don't have an ability that just like lets me move that far without dropping. And then I started the stage and I was like, oh shit, everything's frozen. Why is everything frozen? And then I thought about it and I was like, oh shit, because I beat Chill. Okay, that's pretty cool. No pun intended. So yeah, I definitely just kind of like naturally stumbled onto that, which I guess was the intention, but it was a neat thing, yeah, to see for sure. And then, you know, after that, like I said, about halfway through, I was just like, all right, how do I do this in the right order? Because I kind of got hard fucking blocked by the octopus one, because I didn't have his like weakness weapon or whatever, and I also didn't know until I read about it that the cut weapon can chop his arms off, which is also a nice touch. Because that's like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't know the boomerang can cut off Octopus's arms.
Yep.
Launch Octopus's arm.
Yep.
I didn't know
and
that.
so like if you have that, so if you beat Boomer Kawanger and then you take that weapon and fight the octopus dude, it's not like his air quotes weakness weapon, but it's a cool little touch that like, yeah, you hit him twice with it and it'll chop off all the arms, so that reduces him down to basically only one attack, so it actually makes the fight easier.
You can also cut off Flame Mammoth's trunk.
That I knew.
too.
Yeah, you can cut off his trunk.
Oh,
And
nice.
remove Armadillo's armor as well.
With the electric.
That's with his weakness, though.
Yeah.
So like that's a pretty well known one. Yeah.
Well, does it work? Does that work with the boomer one too? The cut one?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Well, at any rate, so yeah, it's definitely, I agree. It's a really cool like continuity thing that you didn't get before, and honestly, it would be really easy to miss, because it's not something you would expect, especially coming into it from the NES era. It's not like you'd think that there would be any sort of interaction between the stages at all. But it is a really nice touch for that is, I guess, in a way, if you're not doing what I did and following, a game FAQ, then, it's kind of a reward for, replaying the game and finding these neat little things, which I have a question for the both of you because I didn't find it, but how do Hadouken, like, how do you get that?
So you basically have to collect everything in the game and then go to
Armored Armadillo.
You have to have all. Yeah, armored armadillo. You have to have all of your e-tanks filled, and you have to. So at the end of the stage where you're riding on that mine cart or what have you, and you fly over that large gap, you actually have to fall into that gap, and I think you kill yourself 5 times.
That, I mean, there's all a bunch of rumors going around the exact way to do it. It's one of those things I don't know. I don't know if anyone knows for sure. I mean, I'm sure they do now, but like I've heard 3 deaths. I've heard you have to get rid of all your lives except for 1. I've heard you have to have all your E-tanks filled. I've heard you haven't had to have all your E-tanks filled. The only consistent thing I've heard is you need all 4 sub-tanks and you need all weapons upgrades and you need to have defeated all the bosses.
Yeah, so it's consistently worked for me with, the E-tanks filled and having died like maybe 4 or 5 times or something like that. And then at the, like right above the boss room, before you walk in the door, there's like a small ledge that usually has like a tank of health up there. But instead, there will be a light capsule, and then he'll give you the Hadouken. It's, it's a cool little Easter egg. It certainly helps in defeating like the last couple of bosses in the game, but like I kind of just don't care about it anymore at this point because I just want to play the game.
Well, it's also a pain because you have to have full health in order to execute it.
Yeah, you gotta do a bit of grinding, and you obviously want a couple of extra lives as well.
Yeah. No, I was just curious. I mean, obviously it's not, I don't know how the hell anybody would actually have found that, but it's certainly not required. And so actually you just brought something up I wanted to mention about the gameplay as well, which is I really actually in an odd sort of way appreciated the fact that I knew that I could go and like intentionally prep myself for the Sigma stages because, you can replay any of the levels. And I had remembered playing the Armored Armadillo level and being like, shit, man, like these enemies during this little like minecart section drop a shit ton of power-ups. And so I just went back there and just like did some grinding. I think I probably played the first section of that stage like a good 8 or so times and just went through and just walked. I didn't use the minecart thingy. I just walked through the section, killed all the bats and stuff, and got like all of the life upgrades to like fully max out my sub tanks and fill up my my secondary weapons or whatever. And so, and it didn't take that long, but like it was kind of a cool thing that the game was structured in a way that like I knew that there was a spot that I knew I could go to kind of do that like purposefully to get myself like prepared for the final stages. Like, I don't know. It's a nice touch. It's not like one of those things where it's like, you go through each of the stages once and then they're locked out because you're done and you can't go back. I don't know. It sounds stupid now, right? But I don't know. I thought it was kind of nice.
I will say, like, that's the other thing I appreciate about this game too, is that like it's the one thing that really rubs me the wrong way about a lot of the Mega Man games and about a lot of games in this era in general are boss rushes. I fucking hate boss rushes. And like boss rushes are synonymous with the Mega Man series, right? And that's in here, but the way that they break up the boss rush throughout the different stages is much appreciated, as opposed to just having to beat them all in a row, like once in a row, all in one go and without a break. And yeah, that's kind of nice. I appreciated that.
You know what Mega Man game did that before Mega Man X?
Is it one of the Game Boy games? Oh, the first one did it?
Yeah. I mean, it's more back to back in the first one, but if you remember, like Cutman and Elecman are not part of the boss rush before the final boss. They space them out a little bit.
That's of the original games. That's the one that I've least played, just because I don't like it.
Well, I thought it was because you loved it so much you'd try to savor it. That's what I was thinking.
No, shout out to Keaton, infamously said that game was made by a pack of dogs.
Beagles, I think you said specifically.
Beagles, yes, specifically. Yes.
We should talk about the bosses, though, because I think the bosses are a point of criticism for Mega Man X and how easy they could potentially be. So you being kind of, well, since you're the newcomer, Shane, what did you think about the bosses?
I mean, again, okay, my experience with this game, because I've got basically nothing but praise for it so far. And I will say, for what it's worth, that is heavily influenced by the fact that I played this on my Steam Deck through emulation and was able to quick save and quick load. Because if I hadn't had that, I probably would have a slightly different opinion. Again, I don't think it's like a flaw necessarily, and the game does, as I was just saying, if you're intentional about it, it does allow you to, there's a lot more leeway here. Like you can max out, I think, at 9 extra lives, but if you know where they are, because there's one of the big bat in that armadillo stage always drops a 1-up, by the way, like you can go and just, max yourself out. So there's a lot of forgiving mechanics in this one that were not present in the previous games. So in that way, yeah, sure, it's easier. I don't know, man. Like I still had a little bit of a time with a few of the bosses, and I think it's really just getting the patterns down. And that for what it's worth, that's actually one of the things that I do appreciate about this is that there are actual patterns. That was one of the things we brought up in the first game, where there were some encounters where it's just like, I don't fucking know, man. Like this is just rolling the dice and hoping for the best. And that doesn't
They
feel
all have
good.
the same. I learned afterwards that in the original Mega Man, they all have the same pattern, by the way.
Oh, cool. Well, it certainly didn't fucking feel like it, but yeah, all right. Sure. Still felt pretty random to me, but at any rate, this felt a lot more, I don't know what the word is. I got manageable, I guess, from like a pattern recognition standpoint. There were some that if you have the weakness weapon, they were like stupidly easy. Like I completely blew through the Sting Chameleon one because you just get into a pattern of just moving back and forth and hitting him with a cutter. Like it's almost a joke. But I don't know. So some of them still give me a challenge. One thing, by the way, I after the fact with Storm Eagle, I was reading online that people were like, I mean, you pretty much have to have the dash to beat Storm Eagle. I guess, I don't know, maybe this is a fucking humble brag or some shit. I don't know. I didn't know that was the case. I didn't use the dash at all in that. Like I just ran back and forth and avoided his bullshit. So
I'll go next year, and Keith, you can kind of round it out. But there is the criticism, and this is why I wanted to go to you for the fresh perspective, Shane, is because I think, after years of playing this game, you get your perspective warped on what difficulty is and is not. Like we've talked about, you with Contra 3, myself with the original Mega Man, I guess, Streets of Rage 2, where people are like, this game is hard. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, this game is so easy. I could beat this in like a half an hour and laugh at you. And that's where I'm mostly at with Mega Man X. I do not find this game challenging in the slightest. However, I can recognize my viewpoint on it is this is like the ideal challenge for most gamers in terms of balance. I think it's right there. It's just I'm so familiar with it that the challenge to me is just pretty much non-existent. But there is a criticism for the bosses that you just brought up, that if you have their weakness, it's way too exploitable. The bosses are not a challenge to you whatsoever. And that's something I would actually agree with outside of a few bosses. I think Launch Octopus is a dick no matter what you do.
Mhm.
And there's that one boss that actually looks like King Gruel from Bonk's Adventure, except it's like a tank that keeps running into the wall.
Oh, that one sucked.
Later on. I don't like that one still. I still have to use sub tanks when fighting him. But aside from that, the bosses are super easy. Yes, if you're trying to do a Buster only run, it's a little bit different. But there are so many there's so many bosses you can do a stun lock. Spark Mandrill is a joke if you have the Chill Penguin's weapon, if you have Ice Shot or whatever it's called. Yeah, Shotgun Ice. Boomer Quagner is a pushover if you have the homing missiles. Sting Chameleon was already mentioned. He's a pushover. Armored Armadillo, you just got to avoid when he's bouncing all over the place. Non-issue. Then you got like Flame Mammoth, who's, he's not a total pushover. That's because normally you don't have his weakness while facing him, or most people don't know it, which is Storm Eagle's weapon. But he still takes a few more hits. Chill Penguin is supposed to be super easy. And then like once you learn Sigma's pattern, like the first phase is just, it's laughable. You just sit on the wall and just fire at him when he comes down. It's not hard at all. Now the final boss is a little difficult, and that's just more of an exercise in timing. And that's it takes time to learn how to slide underneath the little shots perfectly. Yeah. And trying to avoid the flame when you're supposed to avoid that it can be a little difficult too. But overall, like the stages are where the meat of this game is, I think, is in terms of difficulty. And even once you learn that, if you learn how to dash jump with any sort of consistency, and you get used to it. But again, I understand that's just a muscle memory thing on my part. But I do think I think that's a fair criticism, that the bosses are far, far too easy if you have the means to exploit them. Keith, what do you think?
Yeah, again, it's very hard for me to critically look at this game after all of these years. And I was thinking about that a little bit, though, before I came on here to talk to you guys. Because I think it was you, Chris, that said that basically the dash boots are mandatory. Like the game makes you get them. And as I got them in my recent playthrough, I was like thinking, I'm like, there's got to be some sort of no dash route that you can take through this game. Even with what you said earlier, Shane, about like how somebody was like, oh, you need it to beat Storm Eagle. And it's like, do you though?
No.
Clearly, we have a master over here, a master Maverick Hunter.
That's right.
So, but I don't think I've ever beaten this game with like doing Chill Penguin last, and now I kind of want to do that. That is one way. I have done a Buster only run, which is incredibly difficult. Launch Octopus by him, like just casually, can be a big pain in the ass if you don't have his weakness.
Armored Armadillos, Rolling Shell or whatever it's called.
Yeah, I didn't know what the name of the shield or whatever it is. If you don't have that, just casually, he can just be a very big pain in the ass. And like I said earlier, I did a really weird route where I did Boomer Kawanger second, and he was like, I was able to beat him Buster only, but sometimes the bosses just get into a pattern that they just want to repeat over and over again. And this fucking guy would not stop teleporting. And so while he's doing that, you kind of have to dash jump around the stage to avoid him, because he'll teleport right next to you, grab onto you and shoot you into the spikes in the arena. So it wasn't that it was difficult. It was that he was just locked into this one move, and he was just a bit of a nuisance, a bit of a scallywag, if you will, because I could not like stop for 1 second to actually get a shot off on him. So the bosses have their moments when, like, the AI is just for whatever reason freaking out and is just like, no, I'm just going to do this one thing and really piss you off, which I think a lot of the older games did more often than this one does. The one thing I'll kind of push back on for me personally is, like, I think the hardest part of those Sigma fights is the damn dog. I think that dog is still tough for me to beat, while like the first stage and second stage of Sigma's fight is relatively easy if you know what to do. Also the damn spider fight, like I am not fast enough to be able to tell where that spider is going to land.
It's pure luck for me. It's like, I'm just going to guess and hope I'm right.
So I looked that up, by the way, like a strategy, because I was just getting fucking wrecked by that boss. I'd have to look it up again because I don't remember the name, but it turns out that apparently that pattern that boss does is based on an old Japanese game. Like it's some sort of like game with like either like sticks, like rods, or like threads or something. Like it's an actual like it's based on an actual thing. And
one of the Mario Land games has it too.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's based on that, and then there's supposedly, if you're able to like kind of scan really quickly which like column the spider like spawns on, you should be able to figure out where he's going to land based on how the threads are connected. I could not figure that out fast enough, so it was kind of a crapshoot. But apparently there is a strategy.
No, yeah, like 30 years later, I still am not fast enough to recognize where he will land.
Yeah.
No.
It's interesting you said the thing about the dog and like phase 1 of Sigma, because like I actually thought that was, he goes down so fast. I use the shotgun ice and that just like wrecks his shit. Like I don't know if that's an actual weakness, but I don't know. I managed to get through that quickly.
I always use the Mega Buster against him. I think you're right. I think shotgun ice is his weakness.
I don't know. I just kind of guessed on that one and it seemed to work really well. So that wasn't too bad. But see, that's like my take on this is absolutely colored by the fact that I'm using, a save state, because I know that there were plenty of times like this would have taken me honest to God, like probably twice as long to finish this game if I wasn't doing that, because of how many times I would have had to do trial and error to like really get the boss patterns down. So that's why like somebody coming in with this fresh perspective and is not an NES Mega Man veteran at all, I still think that these bosses have a pretty like reasonable amount of challenge to them, but not overwhelmingly so. And maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Like maybe people are expecting this to be like fucking nails ass difficult or something, and I don't think it is. But there's definitely enough challenge there that you're going to take a few tries on some of these to really get it down.
Yeah. I think that people calling it too easy, when you look at the critical reception for this game when it first came out, we're just so used to games hating you.
Yeah.
I don't think your average game player now is going to come to this game and think it's a breeze. I don't think that's the case. Yeah, I don't think that's the case at all. Right. Anything else we want to get into with the gameplay here? I think we've covered it pretty well.
I think so.
If not, let's get right into the game's presentation here, starting with the graphics. So, Shane, let's keep it with you. What do you think about the visual presentation of Mega Man X?
Man, I fucking love the Super Nintendo. Like, I'm biased as shit. Like, I know that, but goddamn, sprite work is so good. Like, there's really no exception here. Like, this game looks great. It still looks great. It's a vast improvement over the environmental designs from the NES, that's for sure. We were talking about that, where it's like, well, it's a level and it's got a black background. There you go. Fill in the rest with your imagination, I guess. But man, this game is so like vibrant, and there's just so much I want to say so much going on, but that sounds like it's distracting. It's not. It's just that they're very fully realized level designs and like the character sprite work. Like I was saying in the gameplay section, the walk / like run animation for X is just so like smooth, and yeah, man. Now this game is a visual treat. I really, really like it. And I was actually trying to think, I might have missed it entirely, or maybe it was so subtle that I didn't pick up on it. But was there any like mode 7 going on here at all?
Yeah. There is a boss in, it's a sub boss. Spark Mandrill stage where it's like this weird
where he
robot
plugs in and expands with bubbles and shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay.
I think that might be the only application of mode 7.
Okay.
That I can remember. I'm sure there's other ones.
I think, yeah,
But-
if there were, like I said, it must have been subtle enough that I wouldn't even have noticed. It didn't like smack you upside the face like Contra, where it's just like, look at this whole fucking stage. It's from the top down.
Subtlety.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's an advantage of this game coming out in late 93, early 94.
Mm-hmm.
Is by that point, developers had pretty much learned when and where to apply mode 7. They didn't have to go overboard with it anymore.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this isn't something we have to use all the time.
Was there perhaps any used after you acquire the Maverick's weapons? After you beat the stage?
I don't
And the
think
little
so.
animations that play out there? I don't think so either. I'm trying to think of what those look like off the top of my head, but anyway.
I mean, maybe. It's so inconsequential.
Yeah,
It's-
right.
Yeah, no bosses either that I can remember are using it. And usually, like, that would be a big focal point when they would use it, would be on bosses.
Mhm.
God, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
It's not like X2 where you're fighting literally wireframes eventually.
I thought that
It's
was
just
X3.
so fucking obvious. Oh, is that
That's-
3? Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the
They
special
all play.
chip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, what do you think about the presentation, visual presentation, Keith?
Oh, it's fucking fantastic. I really don't have anything else to add on to this. It's just, I think that's the one thing I will also give to the other 16-bit games is that visually they are pretty much, they just get better. But there's something to this that, again, I guess it's just because it's the one that I grew up with X2 and X3 as well. I don't know. I just keep going back to the word purity. Like there's a purity to it that it's just so simple. There's still kind of like a little bit of that like classic Keiji Inafune design. Like there's this one sub boss that you have to fight to get the armor upgrade in Sting Chameleon's stage. And it looks just like a regular ass like something out of the original series, just like this green robot,
Mm-hmm.
There's something cool about that to me because it's like everything else looks so different from what came before. But then there's just like this regular ass green robot. And I don't know. I love it. But then there's also just like, we talked about how the bosses kind of have like, their own personalities. Like basically when you find Launch Octopus, he basically talks shit. And it's like, you're going to go down. He has like this little animation.
Mm-hmm.
And for the most part, he's right if you don't know what you're doing. But then there's also just like the regular enemies. Like Shane mentioned the bats earlier, and there's like little puffs of like steam that come out of them as they like fly around that are really cool. And then like there's like the miners that have like these unique animations where like if they hit you with one of their pickaxes, they sit and laugh at you because you fucking suck.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and just the way you're able to destroy the bosses and like wear them down, where they feel like they are like robots that are like very much engineered as robots in a way that the robot masters in the previous series really didn't feel like it. Like the sprite work makes the vulnerabilities that much more satisfying, if any of that really makes any sense. And also just the getting like X I kind of like the traditional blue armor that X is wearing, but once you do get him fully upgraded, that's also one of the benefits of getting all of the armor parts, is because X looks fucking cool as hell. And the armor continues just to get cool as hell. Like he basically, by the time you get to X8, he just looks like a mech, you know? Like it's absolutely ridiculous. One other thing I kind of want to talk about, and I don't know if this really talks about, it's a bit of the gameplay and world building too, is that during the level select screen, you can bring up like the data on the Mavericks, and like it'll tell you like the height and the weight, their classifications and shit.
It's so cool.
Which is like, none of that really matters, but like it does a little bit of world building in which the other games didn't really do. And that stuff isn't even in the manual either. So it's like, it's all right there in the game. And then there's also like a map that shows you where you are in relation to this world, which goes to the point of how those stages will affect other stages. So yeah, and that's just stuff that you weren't getting in the other Mega Man game. You're probably getting it in other games like Mega Man, but not in the series itself. And so I just think those just little bits and pieces, although they don't matter in the long run, just give the game so much more personality. The one thing you guys have not mentioned is the atrocious amount of frame dropping this game does.
I haven't gotten to my time to talk about it. I was going to say it chugs at times. I mean, I think it looks great as a game. I think it looks spectacular. I love the sprite design and everything, but you can't deny, like in Armored Armadillo's stage, the game comes to an absolute crawl. Or in Launch Octopus's stage, there are times when you destroy the boat and it goes crashing through the area, so you go to another area to get an upgrade, that it comes to an absolute crawl. Some enemies, when they explode, it comes to an absolute crawl. Oh yeah, there's slowdown. There's chug in this game. It's not fully optimized. And I would even argue the Armored Armadillo section where you're like riding in that like minecart and you're firing at the pterodactyls on your way to the final stretch, right? And like where you get in the Hadouken that we talked about earlier. It almost feels like the developers kind of gave up and that section is completely intentional for that slowdown. It's like, yeah, we'll let them do it. Like, we don't want to speed this up.
This was kind of something I talked about on my show when I talked about Star Fox 64, in that, like, when I was a kid, frame dropping just wasn't a thing anybody thought about.
No.
Like, that wasn't a thing. So, like, from my perspective, playing this as a 8 or 9 year old or however old I was like, oh, this is like cinematic. Like,
yeah,
I know. Like, now I know the Super Nintendo. Right. Like, as you're coming out of that mine shaft on that mine cart, all these things are flying by you, and your buster shots are going in slow motion, taking down these pterodactyls, or like on the highway stage, on the intro stage, and the giant Hornet helicopters are like crashing down onto the freeway, and everything's all slow, and I'm just like, oh man, this is so cool.
It's epic.
And like, I don't know, for me, like, the slowdown doesn't affect the minute to minute gameplay. It always kind of seems to happen around like these larger, I guess, quote unquote, set pieces. So for me, I don't know, the slowdown is kind of a nitpick for me if it's the one thing I have to complain about, which is not really much of a complaint. But we live in an era right now where everybody cares about frame rate, so I feel like it needed to be mentioned.
Yeah. If you don't mention it, someone's going to be like, it's not 60 frames per second. I don't care. I don't care. Don't care. I tell people I can't really notice the difference between 30 and 60 frames per second, and they call me a liar.
Okay, that one, I tend to agree with. I absolutely can tell.
I really can't. It doesn't bother me. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but you can tell it drops here. I don't really have much to add for the visual presentation. Only thing I will say, it does have some cool transparency effects that I have to wonder if it was Capcom trying to show something off, because Boomer Quagner does it. He has these transparency effects when he teleports everywhere on the screen. Sting Chameleon does it, moving back and forth on the screen. And then you can do it too when you charge up Sting Chameleon's ability and turn invisible. So I don't know if that's something the Capcom was trying to flex. I don't remember a lot of games actually making use of an effect like that. So it looks good. Good on you for doing it, I guess. But yeah, I think this game's visual presentation is good. The one criticism I'd levy is exactly what Keith said. It was, it chugs. It chugs, but it doesn't chug to the point where it bothers me because, like Keith said, it's part of the game. For me, it's part of the experience. I know where it's coming up, so I can expect the slowdown, and I know how to use it right, which is how good slowdown occurs. It's the best slowdown. That's why
sometimes you
that.
need to slow down so you don't. I don't know where I was going with that. Never mind.
So you don't bust too soon.
So you don't wreck yourself.
X busted all over the place on the slowdown.
X gonna give it to you if you don't slow down a little bit.
Exactly. Yes. All right. How's this game singing? Speaking of musical linkage here, what's the game's sound to us? How do we rate this game? Is it orally, sonically? What's the best way to put this?
I don't know if I'd put it in my mouth.
Keith, tell me how you deal with this game orally.
With extreme prejudice.
It's like
that's
those
AAU.
It's like those toothbrushes that play MP3s and you can listen to the song in your ear canal through brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Science. Yeah. This game, again, I'm going to be completely biased here. Fucking amazing soundtrack. Probably one of my favorite video game soundtracks. Hands down. I don't know what Capcom was doing with the sound font. Like, the explosions sound extra explosion-y. The buster shots, like when you hit enemies, sound incredibly satisfying. When you are fully powered up, when you fully power up the buster shot, which also we didn't really talk about the upgraded buster shot because you get like a shield on the back of X. So enemies can't hit you from behind, which is really fucking cool. Just the visual presentation of like that shot mixed with the sound font that they used for that is so damn good.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know what else to, like the soundtrack, the sound effects, everything just working in sync with the visuals is just, and the sound of X's dash is very nice. Like, it sounds like like there's like this clean robotic sound to it. Like if a Roomba went fast across the floor or something. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. It's just so fucking clean. Like, it sounds so good in a way that, like, I guess the other games where it's like, they don't use the same sound font in X2 and X3. It's like slightly different, and it like irks me in the worst way.
For me, top 5 Super Nintendo soundtrack. It has to be a top 5. Has to be a top 5. And that, I mean, I would have to go over about how I'm hard pressed where I'd put it, because I have a heavy bias towards RPGs, but I mean, everything fits so perfectly in terms of the soundtrack itself. And sound design, you're right. Like, explosions sound fantastic, which is something you need in a game like Mega Man X. Like, you need the explosions to be on point. You need them to sound crisp. And the Buster charging sound, which is supposed to be a sound that many people would probably associate with annoyance. That's how this game is designed. You think that's what it would be like, but you don't think that way. And the proof is, for anyone who had played this game as a kid, or even maybe later on, is after you fight Vile and you're about to die and you hear the, I don't know if that's in the beginning or even at the end, like you hear the Buster charge. And you're like, oh, this is so fucking sick. This is cool. And that's how you know it's a good sound design. It becomes emblematic. It becomes part of your character's identity because that's what you're doing the entire game. And it's not irritating as shit like it is in like Mega Man 4 and 5. And you're just like, can this Mega Buster sound just end, please? I don't want to hear it anymore. I didn't feel that in Mega Man X. It's just I don't know. I'm not an audiophile. I try to say this. When I talk about sound, I almost exclusively talk about how I feel about the music. But I will say that with that in mind, I think that the sound design for Mega Man X is simply flawless. Shane.
I am not sure that I have too much more to add to any of that. It's great. I think it's fucking impressive that it was designed by one person. Goes by Elf in the credits for the record, but Tadashi Jokagi, who also, fun fact, final Capcom project before he up and left for Sega. So there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you're talking strictly about sound,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, the sound design. Yeah, okay. Not the OST. That was
which is designed by 5 people.
Yeah, by Capcom's house band, apparently, called Alf Lyla. So there you go. But I am also, again, it's a Super Nintendo game, so I'm going to be heavily biased anyway, and the sound font, as Keith puts it, is I mean I'm going to love it no matter what, because obviously because it's the same system, a lot of the effects are shared, so there are a lot that I can identify that I know from other games that I also like, and I'm so used to and accustomed to a lot of the sound effects that are just sort of like part and parcel to the Super Nintendo that I can't not love what's going on here. I mean, I would anyway, even if I wasn't partial in that way, because it is expertly designed and also the soundtrack fucking kicks ass. But like, I'm also just, I have a personal like investment in it that I get all the fuzzy nostalgia feels from a lot of the sound bits that are also used here, like the some of the explosion sound effects and things are things that I immediately associate with other games on the Super Nintendo that I played a lot when I was a kid. So yeah, man, that's it's real good. Everything sounds fantastic, and the music keeps you bumping and grinding. So I dig it.
Grinding. All right. So I think that pretty much concludes our thoughts about Mega Man X. But before we give our final verdict on whether or not we think this game holds up today, I know a lot of anticipation on that thought process there. We'd like to hear about what our patrons are doing. Well, not what they're doing. We know what they're doing. Actually, we don't know what they're doing. We don't want to sometimes, I think.
We know exactly what you're doing.
I have no idea what they're doing. Don't drag me into this.
But we want to know what they're thinking about the game that we're talking about. And so that's why we have our section called Patron Pontifications. How can you give a pontification to your listener? Well, I'm glad that you asked. Or, I don't care if you asked. I'm telling you anyway. You can just go ahead and head over to our Patreon, which you can join for $1 a month. That's right, just $1 a month. And the game that will be coming up will be on our Patreon feed. So just go ahead and throw a comment there. But you can do what most people do, and that is head on over to the Discord, which is free to everybody. Just not where you can provide the Patreon pontifications, but you can go to a section where that is available and then give your thoughts there, and we will read it on the episode. Much like I am about to do with Matt, aka Stormageddon's thoughts about Mega Man X, and they are from the Fun and Games podcast as well as the Reignite podcast. And Matt says, in my top 10 favorite games of all time, and easily one of my favorite Mega Man games ever, the soundtrack is flawless. I own it on vinyl. The gameplay is tight and has aged like a fine wine. Pixel art also still looks incredible to this day. A top tier video game. Thank you, Matt.
All right, next we have Lethko of the Afterglow podcast, who tells us this game reignited my love for the Mega Man franchise. really liked the NES games, but the X franchise took it to another level with quality of life improvements like weapon energy pickups restoring energy. Oh shit, we didn't even talk about that, but that's a good point. Without the weapon equipped and refillable sub-tanks being my two favorite improvements. The armor upgrade system was great not only for the gameplay power-up, but also the visual upgrade with each part found. X took the original successful Mega Man formula and tweaked it enough to make it fresh yet familiar, all at the same time. Thank you, Lethko.
Alt says, X gonna give it to you. Anyways, X is great. The series in general is fantastic until you hit X6 and X7, honestly. Even then, the music for at least X6 is fan-freaking-tastic. Even shit Mega Man games have good music, which is a common trait shared with Sonic, our fellow blue brother friend. The sprite work is also fantastic. Highway is probably one of the most well-known opening stages ever. It's busy but teaches you fundamentals much like Super Mario Bros., and even gives you a few dopamine hits when the highway crumbles under you as you scramble to jump to safety. Enemies shooting lemons at you diagonally and attack in more advanced methods compared to OG Mega Man. I highly recommend checking out the PSP remake of X and the original Mega Man. It features the prologue OVA, I think a playable vial? It's not zero, but more content is always cool. I wish they had continued those remakes, though maybe ditch the chibi art of Powered Up. Mega Man is a fantastic IP. Why are you sitting on this, Capcom? I need more than one project announced that won't arrive until 2027. Ugh. Mega Man deserves better. Here's hoping Mega Man X7 makes it to the Patreon poll. I mean X4. I swear. Thank you all.
X7 would be an interesting choice. That would be a choice. All right, next is Randall. And Randall says, the story about how a tech bro created AGI, X, also known as Twitter, with a wrist rocket, Light Yagami, Chip Crunch, sealed him away for 100 years because he forgot to let Twitter out. Instead of joining the Maverick, sick name, uprising, Twitter, suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, decided to murk his robotic brethren in cold blood. At least Storm Eagle came in with the best track from the Twitter series. That's...
How have we not been making X jokes this entire time?
Because no one calls it X.
Okay.
It's stupid. No one calls that X.
Okay.
Does anyone really call that X? I don't know.
I forgot that even exists. Okay. Anyway,
I know,
sorry.
you're never on social media.
Nope.
Yeah. I'm on social media. I don't like even people who are on X don't call it X. Doesn't happen.
So what the fuck are all these links in here?
Yeah, I'm clicking through them.
Those are stuff that he posted in our Discord. He posted links.
Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna skip right through that.
They don't work here. Yeah.
Is that a keytar?
You're a keytar.
Sure.
All right. Next up, I don't know, have fun editing this session. Next up, we have Omi, who says, finally, rock music in Rockman. I agree. Thank you, Omi.
Next, we have sweet baby boy David Jackson from Tales from the Backlog, who says, I played this one for the first time a few years ago. I had fun sometimes, got really frustrated sometimes. Love the music, obviously, and some of the levels and bosses, but got really worn down by cheap shit in platforming sections and feeling like I needed to grind respawning enemies, especially in the late game levels. I know a lot of people love it, but I'll never truly vibe with the Mega Man of any variety, except my beloved Battle Network. When you guys decide you want to jack in with friends, you know where to find me.
Love jacking in. Thank you, Dave. Next is from PM Shram, who says, love you, Mom. Thank you, PM Shram.
Alrighty, let's see. Who do we have next? Ah, yes, Lucas from Game Over Hell on YouTube. And he says, my first Mega Man game and one of the earliest Super Nintendo games I played as a kid. Never finished it. Always got stuck, unable to defeat Sigma. It's been years since I tried beating it again. Still looks, sounds, and feels great to play, but perhaps too powerful for the wimpy, weak-ass Super Nintendo hardware. I bet the Mega Drive would run it without slowdown and featuring better music. Probably look like crap, though, but it would truly be mega. Thank you, Lucas.
Yes. Gotta add those. Gotta give it. I bet if Capcom made Mega Man X for the Genesis, it would have the GEMS sound processor. We are living in a world where we have to miss out on the GEMS sound processor in Mega Man.
Sigma Wars?
Sigma Wars, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they should have done. The first 3 Mega Mans on the Mega Drive. Makes sense. Yeah.
Next we have Soha, also from Game Over Hell, who says, it's pretty funny that Capcom still had the balls to release Mega Man 7 after they released this. Yes.
So the next one is from Lethco really quick. I won't use this as me reading, but he responded to Soha with a picture of Mega Man Soccer.
Mm.
Fill in the blanks there.
Look at his chest.
It's so
He does not skip chest day.
No. Why would you? I'm going to amplify this for Shane. Look at those. Look at those.
The pecs.
Pectacles. Look at those chesticles. Those pectacles.
They are magnificent.
Who needs a buster when you got those babies?
Could bounce a quarter off those.
Yeah. It's all tight like a tiger. And look, he's kicking at top. He likes the top, man. Does. There's a lot of things going on in this picture. Why the hell for Mega Man 3? Iceman was in that game. Come on. Where's the Mega Man 1 love? So we actually had some comments from Patreon proper this time. These are the comments that were not from the Discord. This is from Sega Boy 7, and Sega Boy 7 says, all that needs to be said is best Mega Man game, period. Thank you, Sega Boy 7.
Alrighty, and last but not least, we have Doug T, Core Gaming from New Hampshire. Says, oh man, I was obsessed with this when it came out. I remember getting the Nintendo Power with this on the cover and tracing it over and over again. This really took the tried and true Mega Man formula and added so much great stuff to it. Great story, great power-ups, and great bosses make this one infinitely replayable, and the difficulty is just right. And holy shit, the music. Also, Zero is badass. That is all.
Yes.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. And that means it is time for us to close out the episode with what we think on whether or not this game holds up today, as is tradition, as we are wont to do. Myself and Shane will go first, and then we will give Keith the final word about whether or not Mega Man X holds up today. I will go first, and the answer to that is fuck yes! This is one of the best Super Nintendo games ever made! This is my favorite Mega Man game ever made! It is the best Mega Man game ever made! This is a fucking masterpiece. This is a 10 out of 10 game. It is fucking fantastic. You're goddamn right. It holds up today. And I wish more games were like this. Actually, I don't, because then they would get boring. I love Mega Man X. Perfect. Shane.
Well, I don't think I'm going to be quite that emphatic, but I will say that
why not?
Because I got to balance things out, Chris. You gotta bring things down a notch here. But now, in all honesty, yeah, it absolutely holds up extremely well. I mean, this could have been released today, because particularly with the massive influx of indie games, in this exact kind of style, trying to ape this sort of period of games design and whatnot. It would have fit absolutely right in. And it's still, like I said, it plays extremely well. It looks amazing. I do think it really does a fantastic job of striking that really delicate balance of difficulty and challenge, but also being just enough that you don't get so discouraged that you just throw it down and you don't want to keep playing. There's enough incentive there to keep trying. And it's lenient enough with its mechanics that it encourages that, which I think is really important. And just for myself personally, I really appreciate it because I think it genuinely has given me a different viewpoint on just Mega Man as a whole, because historically I've kind of, I wouldn't say hated on Mega Man, but I've just never really cared or liked it all that much. Like aesthetically, I always thought it was cool, but I never had much inkling to play the actual games because I knew kind of what they were. And I was just like, I don't fucking care, man. Like, okay, fine. They're super difficult and you got to figure out some dumbass rock, paper, scissors thing. Like, I just don't, I cannot be fucked to care about this. And honestly, if you listen to our Mega Man episode, it didn't really change that much. But this game, I think, completely shifted my viewpoint for the better. And it is genuinely enjoyable. And like I said, I unironically would have put this up with something like Contra 3 and Turtles in Time if it had been something that I had owned when I had those, back in the day. So yeah, no, the game's great. It's great.
Awesome. So this is where Keith comes in and surprises us and tells us actually it's dog shit and he's been living a lie his entire life. Right, Keith?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I don't know why you guys asked me to be on this episode.
Yeah, no idea.
It's no Sonic the Hedgehog, but it's all
Thank
right.
God.
Yeah, I'm going to be a little less like Shane and a lot more like you, Chris.
Oh.
Best game ever made. Best game ever made. I just, like I said at the beginning of the episode, there's no way I could ever critically think about this game, really. It's by far the one game that I have played more than any other game ever. I will probably play it at least 2 or 3 more times before the year is over, especially now that I have realized that I have never done Chill Penguin last. So that will be fun. But, yeah, man, it's one of those games where, you look at the original Mega Man series and it's like, why did they keep making Mega Man game? They probably could have stopped after 3 and like have just been fine. Like they mastered it. They mastered that original formula, really. Everything else was just kind of bloat. And with Mega Man X, it's kind of the same thing where it's just like, oh, you did it. You don't need to do anymore. You can go make those weird ass games like the aforementioned Battle Network series or the spin-off Metroid style stuff with Zero and all of that. You can go do that. You don't need to do the action platforming. You did it. Like, you don't need to do anymore. But they did. And people like those games. Sure. But I feel like this is basically like the apex of that. Like, we're at the top of the hill. And then it's just kind of like a slow drop to the bottom from here on out. Like, this just has kind of everything you would want out of like a good modern take of a Mega Man X game. And I say modern, knowing that this game is like 30 years old at this point, but it feels like it could have came out like 2 years ago or something, it was like an indie title. Yeah, it's just tight controls. There's so much player freedom, so much agency for the player, environmental storytelling. Sprites look fucking fantastic. The soundtrack is fantastic. I mean, this is Capcom learning a lot from what they did with the previous games and learning what they could do with new hardware with that stuff. And that's just, the product here is just amazing all of these years later. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Keith. If you said best game ever, is this your favorite game of all time?
Oh, man. So that's something I was also thinking about coming into this podcast. And I would say at least top 5. I don't know if I would say it's my favorite game of all time, but I would say top 5 easily.
It's that good. I don't know if I've put it in my top 5 list. I would have to go back and look, but it's up there too. But Keith, thank you for joining us once again on an episode of Retro Hangover. It's been so long since you've been on, it feels like, even though I don't think it's been that long, but maybe it has been. Either way, it's always a joy to have you on, and thank you for once again stopping by to talk about this incredible game.
Yeah, man, thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on for something that's not a Sonic game. I feel like the only other game that I've talked about on here that I was this excited about was PT. Otherwise, it's been all Sonic, baby. And it may not be the last Sonic either.
This year.
But
it's no use.
So thank you. No, this is a lot of fun. I was really looking forward to this. And if I'm ever going to come out of retirement, it's definitely going to be to come on and shoot the shit with you guys. So thanks.
Speaking of retirement, maybe you can let the good people know what you retired from and maybe where they can find those things.
Yes. So I was formerly the host of the Main Quest Pocket, formerly and the only host. There's nobody took over that I know of. But it was also a retro gaming podcast wherein I was replaying all of the games that I grew up with and reevaluating them and seeing if I still like them. You can find that's still being hosted as far as I know. You can find that on all podcasting platforms. I also have been, so Chris kind of alluded to it earlier. I'm having movie nights over in my Discord where I am hosting and streaming movie adaptations of video games. And we started with the 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie. And every weekend we will be watching a new movie that the fine Discord community will be voting on. And so I think the next movie is the classic Uwe Boll, Alone in the Dark.
Christian Slater joint, baby.
Oh god, we're starting hot and heavy over there in the Discord. So the Discord is free, so everybody is welcome. Sunday nights, anywhere between 7 to 7:30 p.m. Central, we will be in there watching movies and ranking them. By the way, to definitively see what is the best movie adaptation of a video game. And so, yeah, the first night was a lot of fun. I think Super Mario Brothers is one of those movies where it's just kind of fun to watch and shoot the shit because it's kind of, I hated that movie growing up, but having watched it so many times, it's really kind of grown on me, honestly.
It's not a good movie.
No, not at all. It's horrible.
No, but it's like it's an insane in the right way that it's just entertaining.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
It's funny that you're doing that now. I used to do that way back in the day at my house. I used to have a bunch of people over and we'd do terrible video game movie doubleheader nights where we'd do like two back to back, and they were usually like a shared theme, and it was heavily encouraged to participate, like, Mystery Science 3000 style, and it was a lot of fun. I miss those days, but I'm glad you guys are doing that. We got through quite a few of them, actually. So the Dead or Alive movie is a fucking thing, let me tell you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was a little bit inspired by what you guys do in your Discord with the review crew.
Yeah.
But I had a Patreon exclusive show for a while where me and Ryan Yingling not from Listoff, from I forgot. Shit,
news, delayed gaming news.
Yep. Him and I had something going on the Patreon where we were doing the same thing, basically, I'm doing in the Discord. And I was like, I kind of want to bring that back, but with the community. And so you guys kind of inspired me to do that in that way as well. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Well, speaking of the things that we do every so often, we've got a lot that still is going on for you to participate in. Whether that is just, listening to the show, if you just want to have us sort of like caress, your brain pan, you can do that. You've already found us, so you've done the hard part, and we hope you enjoyed your stay here. If this happens to be your first time, there's a lot out there for you. Actually, now, as of now, we're over 400 releases on the show. So there's a lot there, about 100 or so of them I think you can only get to from our actual website at this point, because 300 is kind of like the cutoff for most feeds. So if you really want to go back that far, you're going to have to go there. But fortunately, all of that is easily centralized and streamlined by us for you. And it's all at our link tree. So head on over to linktr.ee/ patreon.com/retrohangover, and you will find that along with the aforementioned Patreon, as well as our merch store and the open and public Discord and our YouTube and Twitch channels, where we now just kind of randomly jump in and stream whenever. And by we, I definitely mean Chris.
Whenever I want.
Yeah, he's gone rogue. He's a maverick now. So
yeah.
So watch your notifications. You know, he could be popping
Become
up
Maverick Hunters
at any time, any place.
Hunt my streams.
That's right. I guess with that, is there anything else you want to add, Chris?
Final Fantasy V 4-Job Fiesta is coming up. I'm going to figure out a way to do a charity stream for that. So stand by. Once again, I am pledging $500 of my own hard-earned money and match up to $500 I will match for whoever joins me on this charity run. So that will be the Final Fantasy V 4-Job Fiesta. I will be streaming it on Twitch. So make sure, and YouTube, I guess. So follow those channels if you want to join me on the 4-Job Fiesta this year. There it is. There you go.
Awesome.
Subscribe.
Yeah.
Smash the subscribe button.
That's right.
So
ring
Aaron
the
Hansen can get
bell
all of our YouTube money.
or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever they do. Double tap your screen to like it. And with all of that,
And swipe right.
having been said, until the next time.
Play with your I want all those tentacles to launch into me joysticks.
Shane here with a quick message. You know, the one rule Chris and I have always gone by regarding advertisements is this. It has to be something we use and can personally vouch for. If you know me, you know I love coffee. And Bones Coffee Company has been my go-to for home brewing for quite some time now. Their small batch beans come in an impressive variety of flavors like Mint Invaders from Chocolate Space, or Electric Unicorn, which I swear tastes exactly like Fruity Pebbles. And the best part? No added sugar or calories involved, just natural flavors infused right into the beans themselves. Build your own sample pack of 5 4-ounce bags to find out which flavors speak to you, or jump in head first with full 12-ounce bags. They've even got K-Cups. Step up your homebrew game with Bones Coffee by visiting bit.ly/RHPBones. That's bit.ly/RHPBONES.